Welcome to Honest Faith Daily, friends. I'm so glad you're joining us today. Grace, it's always a joy to sit down with you and talk about real faith, the kind that carries us through life's toughest moments. Today, let's dive into something heavy. Keeping faith when our prayers seem to go unanswered.
Oh, James, that hits close to home. I've been praying for months about something so personal, and it feels like God's silent. No change, no answer, just nothing. How do you keep trusting when it feels like God's not listening?
That's a real question, Grace. It's okay to feel that weight. The Bible doesn't shy away from those moments. Think about David in Psalm 13. He cries out, "How long, O Lord? Will you forget me forever?" He's raw, honest, pouring out his heart, but by the end, he's still trusting God's steadfast love.
I get that David felt ignored, but he was David. I'm just me, and I'm tired of waiting. Sometimes I wonder if I'm praying wrong, or if God's just done with me.
Grace, you're not alone in feeling that. I've had seasons where I prayed and heard nothing but my own voice. It's hard, but God isn't done with you. Romans 8:26 reminds us that the Spirit helps us in our weakness. Even when we don't know how to pray, the Spirit intercedes for us. Your prayers aren't falling on deaf ears, even if it feels that way.
But why does it feel so pointless sometimes? I keep asking, believing, waiting, and still no answer. It makes me question if God even cares.
That doubt is real, and it's okay to voice it. God can handle your honesty. Look at Hannah in 1 Samuel 1. She prayed for years for a child, weeping, aching, with no answer in sight. Yet she kept pouring out her soul to God. Her persistence wasn't about earning an answer. It was about trusting God's character, even in the silence.
So you're saying I should just keep praying? Even if nothing changes? That feels so hard, James. Like, what's the point if God's not going to move?
I hear you, Grace. It's not about praying harder or getting the words just right. It's about resting in who God is. Habakkuk 3:17-18 is one of my anchors here. It says, "Though the fig tree does not bud and there are no grapes on the vines, yet I will rejoice in the Lord." That's faith, choosing to trust God's goodness, even when the answer doesn't come.
That sounds so strong, but I feel so weak. I want to trust like that, but I'm struggling. How do you get to that place of rejoicing when everything's falling apart?
It's not about feeling strong, Grace. It's about leaning into God's strength. When I've faced unanswered prayers, I've had to remind myself of God's track record. Think about the Israelites. Waiting 400 years in Egypt, God seemed silent, but he was working. His timing isn't ours, but his promises are sure.
I guess I forget that God's timing isn't like mine, but waiting for years, that's overwhelming. How do you not give up?
One day at a time, Grace. Lamentations 3:22-23 says, "The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning." Every day, God's giving you fresh mercy to keep going. You don't have to figure out years from now. Just lean into him today.
That makes it feel a little less heavy, but I still wish I could see what God's doing. It's hard to trust when everything's so unclear.
I know, and God sees that struggle. Faith isn't about seeing the whole picture. Hebrews 11:1 says, "Now faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen." Faith is trusting God's promises when you can't see the outcome. It's holding on to him in the dark.
That's beautiful, but it's so hard to live out. I want to believe God's working, but my heart's tired. What do I do when I feel stuck?
You keep bringing that tiredness to God. Psalm 62:8 says, "Pour out your heart before him." God is a refuge for us. Tell him you're weary, frustrated, even doubting. He's not offended by your honesty. He's your refuge, not your critic.
I've been afraid to admit how frustrated I am. Like, I'm supposed to have it all together as a Christian, but you're saying it's okay to tell God I'm struggling?
Absolutely, Grace. God already knows your heart. He wants you to come to him as you are. Jesus says in Matthew 11:28, "Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." He's inviting you to bring your burdens, not hide them.
That's so freeing to hear. I've been carrying so much guilt for feeling this way, like I'm failing God by doubting.
Grace, your doubts don't disqualify you. They're part of your journey. God's grace is bigger than your questions. He's not asking you to have perfect faith. He's asking you to trust Him, one step at a time.
That helps, James. I think I've been trying to fix my faith before coming to God, but you're saying He wants me mess and all?
Exactly. God loves you in your mess. Romans 8:38-39 says nothing can separate you from His love. Not your doubts, not your unanswered prayers, nothing. He's with you even in the silence.
That's what I needed to hear. I'm still waiting, but I feel a little lighter, like I can keep going even if it's slow.
That's the Spirit at work, Grace. Faith isn't a sprint, it's a walk. You're not alone in this. God's carrying you even when you can't feel it.
Thanks, James. I'm going to keep praying, even if it's just a whisper, and I'll try to trust God's holding me through this.
That's faith, Grace. It's not about having all the answers. It's about trusting the one who does.
You know, sometimes I think about my kids when I'm praying. Like, when my 7-year-old asks me for something, I don't always say yes right away. Sometimes I wait because I know what's best for him. Is that how God's working with me?
That's a powerful way to see it, Grace. As a parent, you love your kids too much to give them everything they ask for immediately. God's the perfect Father, and His wisdom is infinitely greater than ours. In Matthew 7:11, Jesus says, "If you then, who are evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father who is in heaven give good things to those who ask Him?" God's silence doesn't mean He's absent. It means He's working for your good, even when you can't see it.
That verse really puts it into perspective. But it's still hard when I'm praying for something that feels so right, so good. Like, why would God hold back on that?
That's a question we all wrestle with, Grace. Sometimes God's plan is different from ours, and that can hurt. Think about Jesus in Gethsemane. In Mark 14:36, He prayed, "Abba, Father, all things are possible for you. Remove this cup from me." But He added, "Yet not what I will, but what you will." Even Jesus surrendered to God's will, trusting the Father's plan over His own desires.
That's humbling. If Jesus had to trust God through that kind of pain, who am I to demand my own way? But how do I let go like that?
It starts with small steps of surrender. You don't have to have it all figured out. Just pray. "Lord, I don't understand, but I trust you." It's like when I was younger, and my dad would carry me when I was too tired to walk. I didn't know where we were going, but I trusted He did. God's carrying you like that, Grace.
I love that picture. It makes me feel less alone in this. But what if I'm scared I'll never get an answer? Like, what if this waiting is all there is?
That fear is real, and it's okay to name it. But let me remind you of 2 Corinthians 4:17-18. It says, "For this light momentary affliction is preparing for us an eternal weight of glory beyond all comparison, as we look not to the things that are seen, but to the things that are unseen." Your waiting isn't wasted. God's using it to shape you, to draw you closer to Him.
That's hard to believe when I'm in the middle of it. But I want to hold on to that truth. Like, maybe God's doing something bigger than I can see.
That's exactly it, Grace. God's always working for your good and His glory. Even in the silence, He's writing a story you can't read yet. I think of Joseph in Genesis, sold into slavery, imprisoned for years. He couldn't see God's plan, but God was preparing him to save nations.
That's such a good reminder. Joseph probably felt abandoned, but God was with him the whole time. I guess I need to trust God's with me too, even when I can't feel it.
That's the heart of faith, Grace. It's not about feeling God's presence every moment. It's about knowing He's faithful, no matter what. Isaiah 55:8-9 says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." God's plans are beyond our understanding, but they're always good.
That verse really helps me let go a little. Like, I don't have to figure it all out. I just need to trust God's ways are better than mine.
That's it, Grace. Trust doesn't mean you won't feel the weight. It means you bring that weight to God and let Him carry it.
I'm starting to see that. It's not about fixing my prayers or being perfect. It's about staying close to God, even when it's messy.
That's beautifully said, Grace. Staying close to God is where the strength comes from, and He's closer than you know, even in the silence.
I think I'm going to try praying differently tonight, not just asking for what I want, but telling God I trust Him. Even if I don't understand, it feels scary but also freeing.
That's a brave step, Grace. God honors that kind of faith. He's not looking for perfect words. He's looking for your heart.
Thanks, James. This conversation's given me so much to think about. I still don't have answers, but I feel like I can keep going.
That's the journey of faith, Grace. It's not about seeing the end. It's about walking with the one who knows it. Thanks for watching Honest Faith Daily, friends. Keep bringing your heart to God. Trust His unfailing love, and we'll see you tomorrow.